Okay, so I want to talk a little bit. I had made some other videos, but I just want to go over like what I think the most important thing that people need to understand right now is that I do think that we have let scientists perform a mad experiment. They opened a portal, this LHC, and things are all screwed up. This Mandela effect is huge. I'm one of the victims of Mandela effect, which if you don't know about it, go check it out, because you might be one of the ones stolen from your like quantum entangled dimension that you were at before, or whatever place that we were that was not here, or whatever the hell is going on. But yeah, this Mandela effect is a major issue, and they're opening these portals. And these portals are bringing in spirits, M3 state matter, that you can see on infrared scannings of entities or like collection of energy matter that we cannot see or smell or touch, but it exists, is going through these portals. And there's been all these weird talks about people becoming possessed and things at CERN, and suicides, other sort of stuff that's going on. So, like, we have to really question, did the scientists do a big uh-oh? Did they do what could go wrong? Let's just see what happens, because that's what they say. Like, oh yeah, physicists say it could just destroy the planet, and this antimatter could be used as a bomb. It could rip apart the whole universe. It could rip apart multiple universes. It's so powerful, this antimatter. And we don't even know what it's like, and these people are just kind of like, oh well, we'll just see what happens. Let's just drop a antimatter bomb and blow up a city, or test it out, and it could end up blowing up the whole planet because these people are freaking crazy. So I mean, people need to understand that this stuff is a big problem. We let scientists go around doing stuff that doesn't really make sense when we got plenty of people on the planet living in poverty, and this is the most expensive science project ever. Not only that, all these weapons, space programs, all this stuff, they're spending billions of dollars, and then they got people suffering around in poverty, and then they got oligarch dictatorships that don't want their people to have decent lives running the planet. And I don't know the entire solution, but I can say that whatever we thought was going to work out isn't working at all. So, what to do about this science project gone wrong? And I do think, this is something the Nazis foresaw. They were looking for the Holy Grail. They were looking for these things. And I'm not trying to go on a rant. I'm trying to connect these sort of things together so we understand why we're in the state we're in right now. I believe that there was some sort of like possession amongst some Nazis. The Thule or Vril Society were involved in occult, so they might have become possessed, and they opened the doorway to the spiritual world that was not good, and they became possessed, and then they looked for artifacts that would help them to ensure that they would become the rulers of the world. And they were looking for the Ark of the Covenant, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Temple of Doom area, where they were open the box, the Ark of the Covenant, and then they like die, but they're souls that leave, and it's like kind of basically saying like, hell breaks loose. So like the Nazis were looking for all of this stuff. Like they were looking for the spear that killed Jesus, called the Spear of Destiny. They were looking for this cauldron called the Chiemsi cauldron, which is like a cauldron is like for witches and stuff. So they were all talking about eugenics, like going back in time to discover their heritage, and all this like runes and stuff, and like they were looking for like evidence of their past Germanic roots and all this kind of crazy stuff, like Norse kind of like god stuff. Like Himmler was like way into the Norse god and they were doing all these genetic experiments, Lebensborn, they were stealing kids and then doing twinning experiments, which I think a lot of the problems we have now is that they've got all of these artifacts that are linked to spiritual domain. All of these artifacts were sought after by all of the prophets to contain evil from breaking loose. And the problem is now is all of the spiritual people around the world, they don't even talk about these spiritual objects at all and the significance that they have, and that we need to find them and put them back into the public domain and never to let them fall into the wrong hands. Because I think the reason why things got out of control is from them creating a huge mega ritual in which they open the gates of hell. And these scientists are working with them, and there are all these types of groups, and they're basically spiritually channeling to create hell on earth. And that's what's going on. People are like becoming possessed in Hollywood. They're talking about all these rituals and sacrifices and all this stuff. Well, you know, what is that stuff that's going on? You know, we could build an ark. It's 1.5 cubic meters tall. It's like built in the golden rectangle pattern. So it's a 2.5 meters by 1.5 meters, or 1.5 times 2.5. You know, it's a box that's made out of supposedly acacia wood because of some psychoactive principles or something. And inside of that, or the box is lined on the outside and the inside with gold, and then it's topped with gold with 2 cherubims at the top with a gold plating on the top. And I think we need to like either find this or make a bunch of them and weld them shut and then go around and test and see what's going on. I'm talking spiritual science, because CERN has opened this gate and we see these entities coming through. This M3 state matter is real. They've confirmed it. So we need to understand that there's really weird stuff going on. People are saying they see clowns like out of nowhere, and it's not Halloween stuff. And people like for a while have been talking about these bath salts and other stuff. But in general, it could be just like straight up demonic possession. And if you watch the movies now, they're becoming more sick and depraved and more possessive, more demonic, all these kinds of things. They're freaking evil. So I think that we really need to take this stuff seriously, and we should make these kind of spiritual weapons, and we should place our faith in God, the Creator, before anyone became a creator. The original divine one. This Creator, we need to put our faith in Him and ask Him to help us, and we need to actually kind of be Ghostbusters or something, because I mean, people, all the presidents, they're throwing up like the devil's horns, and like Trump, you keep seeing him like holding up the OK sign, which is like these are all demonic symbols, like all these Hollywood stars throwing up pyramids and stuff. I mean, you people, you're invoking the devil. You're invoking the demonic world to come into this world, and it's going to destroy not only you and your family, it's going to destroy maybe all of us, because that's just how crazy these people or entities are in general. And that's it's almost laughable, because it's like they open the door to hell, to escape hell, and then they want to bring everybody back there or replace them. And in the process, they're going to destroy this world and go back to hell anyway. So they're just completely like lunatic. Like brains on fire, basically, these types of people. And I've come in contact, and I might not live much longer because I've been blowing the whistle. I got threats for doing that, for talking about the NROL, for talking about these genetic programs, the breeding, the Nephilim, these Goliath type of people that we just don't really want to discuss, but are now starting to come into movies and stuff. And we got to sit back and start contemplating, why is the media pushing all this kind of stuff? Why are they getting involved in this? Are they prepping us for what's to come? You know, are we food? We're cattle, slaves on this planet to mine gold for them so they can become giant gold-plated DNA, like immortal, or people who live very long lifespans because they eat blood, or you know, do whatever their crazy rituals that they're doing are. You know, we got to take this stuff seriously a little bit, because it's not just like some sort of theory. And at the same time, we got to not be scared of these people or these things that are going on, because in essence, they need people, and they're going to just farm us